Good evening, and welcome to week 3 of the Prince Dustpan Halloween Marathon. So obviously I'm not wearing the usual shirt. I have my Riff Raff digs on right now because I'm going to see Rocky Horror tonight at a live theater show. It's going to be awesome. Day 15 I watched Crimson Peak, the Guillermo del Toro film from last year. This is the newest movie on the list so far this month, and I would say the most thought-provoking. There was a lot to look at, a lot to think about. It's Del Toro, so it's going to be stylized, it's going to be interesting. This was no exception. I love the use of color. The scenes in America at the beginning had a sepia tone feel to them, and then once the main character moves to England, colors get more saturated, much darker. A lot of blues and reds. Red, of course, is an underlying thing. It's called Crimson Peak, which the name refers to the mountaintop where they live. It sits on a bed of red clay, and so during the winter the clay seeps into the snow and it turns red like blood, which is just an amazing effect and beautiful cinematography on that. I suppose there could be considered some jump scares, nothing too outrageous. Decent creature design for some of the ghosts. Overall, an interesting movie. I didn't really know what to expect going into it, and I was pleasantly surprised, and I really enjoyed it. Day 16, I watched a movie called Ginger Snaps. This was fun. This was very fun. It's a Canadian werewolf movie. A very unique take on the werewolf story. There's no moonlight transformation. Instead, it's a very slow, gradual process where the character gets more and more primal. And it happened to coincide that she gets bit by a werewolf right as she gets her first period. So hormones are going crazy, and they really play with that idea, and it's a lot of fun. Also, it's Canadian, so it's really fun to hear the girls say sorry. Like, sorry, my friend is ripping you to shreds right now. And I found out there's 2 sequels. I'm gonna need to find these at some point. For day 17, I found a Roger Corman movie from the early 90s. This was actually the first movie that Corman himself directed in almost 20 years. Frankenstein Unbound. This was interesting, to say the least. This is a time travel Frankenstein movie. John Hurt plays a scientist from the 2030s who, through science babble, rips a hole in space-time, gets sucked into it, with his car, by the way, goes back to the 1800s, and meets Dr. Victor Frankenstein, who apparently is a real person. Mary Shelley is a friend of his. The story that she writes is based on true events. It's a good premise. One of my absolute favorite movies of all time is The Wicker Man. The original Robin Hardy Wicker Man. Robin Hardy, he didn't do anything else. He wrote a book that was a sequel to The Wicker Man called Cowboys for Christ, in which 2 missionaries from Texas travel to Scotland to preach to the people there who have never heard of Jesus. was a decent idea. And it became a movie. And Robin Hardy did it. And it's the only other thing he ever did. It's called The Wicker Tree. It's the same basic story as the first one, just set in modern day. And it's a different festival, a different sacrifice for a different purpose, but it's still a pagan sacrifice of Christians. It was a decent movie, but we already have an original Wicker Man. The Nicolas Cage one serves its purpose as being funny. This one just kind of has no place in history. But I always find it refreshing to see a movie in which the supposed good guys fail. Just a little screw you to the audience. I always love that. My birthday was on October 19th. I had a busy day. I had a lot of fun. I didn't have a lot of time to watch a movie. I put something in before I went to bed, saw the first 20 minutes or so, and I was out. There was no keeping me up for that one. Crucible of Horror, or it's also called Corpse, I think. One thing that struck me about it is that in the first 10 minutes, I think about the first full 10 minutes, there was no dialogue whatsoever. Which is an interesting decision. I like when movies do unique things like that. But then the first line of dialogue spoken is something just benign and pointless. I feel like if you're going to set up a style like that to be silent for so long, the first line spoken should have some meaning, some purpose behind it. And unfortunately, that's about all I saw of it. I'm still counting it because I started the movie before the next day. It was my birthday. Give me a pass, alright? Oh, and the main actor was Alfred from the Michael Keaton Batman. So that was kind of cool. Day 20, I had a lot of fun. Class of 1999 is destined to be a new guilty pleasure movie for me. And it's one you shouldn't even feel guilty for liking this one, because it's genuinely good. It's a lot of fun. And it's got some really decent actors in it, too. I was really surprised to turn it on and see Malcolm McDowell and Stacy Keach and Pam Grier in the opening credits. Like, okay, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. I honestly don't want to get into a lot of details about it, because I think you should watch this movie. Imagine this. What if retired Terminators were repurposed as high school teachers? Does that intrigue you? Then watch this movie. You won't regret it. Day 21, I went back to Roger Corman. I think if I add it up, I've seen quite a few Corman movies this time around. Carnosaur 2. I happened to pick up at a used video store. I've never seen Carnosaur 1. I don't think you need to see Carnosaur 2. There isn't much plot here. There's a number of dinosaurs in an underground nuclear facility that kill everybody. There's no suspense. There's no fucking around. Just widespread death. What more do you want? There's several little dinosaurs and one great big one. This is a movie that Chris Gore of Film Threat magazine once said was everything Jurassic Park should have been. And I'll agree with that if you believe that Jurassic Park should have been an exploitation film. If that's how you feel, then that quote is absolutely true. And hey, nothing wrong with a little exploitation now and then. It can be a lot of fun. So that's week 3. Join me next week for the finale. And I have a show to see. See ya.